The USF&G in the USA. USF&G protects your business, home, auto, and life through 6,000 independent insurance agents all across the country.
Protecting what you value and ensuring your way. The USF&G and the USA.
Come back to Jamaica.
Come, climb a cool mountain.
What's old is what's new.
Come, let your spirit soar.
We want you to join us.
Come share our happiness.
We made it for you.
Come to a place that could make your body feel cool and your spirit feel warm. Come, make it Jamaica again and again.
Make it Jamaica, Jamaica again.
Americans, Hubert Green is 2 under through 10. Ben Grenshaw 2 over through 9. There we go back now, and that looks like Johnny Miller hitting. Let's join the BBC.
But has he let it come back enough? Otherwise he'll be flirting with the Beardies. And Kel Nagel, whose winning score in 1960, 278, 10 under par, was the best that's ever been recorded around this course. And the weather wasn't all that good then. And there's the state of play at the moment. Still at 5 under, those 3 who posted their scores earlier today, Bill Longmuir, Greg Norman and Peter Jacobson. And 3 fellas coming up behind, Ian Baker Finch, Nick Faldo and Seve Ballesteros. But with the tough part of the course still to be played, it's unlikely, in my opinion, that any of those will actually catch the leading trio.
I guess that's what makes this such a great championship, Bruce. Looking at the leaderboard there, you've got Scotsmen, Australians, Spaniards, Americans, Irishmen, Mexicans.
And even an Englishman in Nick Faldo. But it certainly is, could be described as a championship of the world. It's got the greatest field. We'll go back to the 14th and find the drives of Seve Ballesteros, Johnny Miller and Kel Nagel. It's par 72, this old course, St Andrews, and perhaps almost unique to only have 2 short holes and 2 par 5s. And of course it's the short holes you get the 3s on, and it's the par 5s that most people hope to get the birdies. So these scores of 5 under on this 6,933 yard course represent some very, very good golf, in spite of the fact that conditions are as benign as they're ever likely to be. And as we predicted or thought, Seve Ballesteros away on the 5th fairway. Totally safe, and with the pin again tucked away on the right of this green. So he'll keep the second shot down the left as well, so he can come in up the length of the green for his 3rd. This hole, 567 yards, be over 600 yards the way Ballesteros is playing it. And there's the statistics of how this 14th hole is played today. Only 10 birdies, less birdies than bogeys, and under those headings of double bogeys and worse, we've got Bill Rogers with his 9, Craig Stadler with his 7. Sorry, Bill Rogers with his 12, rather. Ballesteros not attempting anything too dramatic, going for position with his second shot. Well, it disappeared into, I think, a hollow. I don't think there's any sand there. I think that's perfect, and he's still got another good 100 yards to the green. But you see, there's a shoulder just above those players on the green, shoulder that stands up, and it's much better not to have to come in over that and the downslope of green, which is beyond it, or this side of it. Now, remember, we saw Johnny Miller's tee shot start off down the left. I think he got a little bit out of the heel, and it's ended up very close to the out-of-bounds wall. Very good position, in fact, from which to hit his second that. Kel Nagle, who would have been the shortest off the tee, has played his second already. Now ahead of him, some 170 yards, is Hell Bunker, with its attendant little servant, the sort of kitchen bunker. So that anything other than a perfect shot hit on that line could interfere, could go in it. So this hole full of pitfalls. There's Johnny Miller's figures. Dropped a shot at the first, and then a birdie, then drops one, then a birdie, and so on, and one over at the moment. That hat's been threatening to come off for a couple of holes on the big shots. But the applause tells us he's probably negotiated the difficult bits between he and the hole.
Players on the 17th tee just waiting. A lot of spectators crossing over here, and just generally, players just generally slowed down a little bit, and it's hardly surprising because there have been 8 or 9 3-balls gone through, and nobody's broken par over the last couple of hours. And players of great quality have. Bob Gilder, for example, has just finished his round 8-4, 5-7-4 for an 81. And that gentleman with the red flag, well, you all know what that means. When the flag flies, bad luck. And you've got to wait. And he's on the corner, and you can see round up ahead the players waiting for the green to clear. And as I was saying, the 17th has caused enormous problems. As the wind has freshened, the 14th and the 17th have claimed many victims indeed.
But as they continue to wait, we'll go ahead to the fast 18th green, and Ian Baker Finch, 4 under, and he got his 4 as we saw at the 17th, so he's still 4 under and has this to join the leaders.
Actually, not a bad putt to place to putt from here. He's coming up the slope, so he can afford to be bold. This putt to tie for the lead with 3 other players.
Couldn't have gone any closer without going in, and that'll be a 4 for Baker Finch. A round of 68. We'll go back to the 14th. Ballesteros, 3rd shot. Finds the green, but trickles off one of these little slopes.
Faldo still waits at the 17th, swinging away the club, trying to keep the muscles loose, the rhythm going. This hole really does play, well, it's a par 4 as against the 14th par 5. Harder to get a 4 here than a 5 at the 14th, one fancies. Only one birdie here today. One player has got a 3. Brian Marchbank, well, that'll please his dad up there at Glen Eagles. Only 23 4s.
Baker Finch puts out on the 18th. 4 under and a round of 68. Apologise for that. That was Hale Irwin. They're dressed fairly similarly. Now we have Ian Baker Finch.
Faldo's tee shot at the 17th. No, way too far left again. And they're very lucky that that rough is light. I'm surprised the Championship Committee let that rough get as thin as that.
Nick Faldo on one of the tough holes, that road hole, trying to hold on to 4 under, let alone step up to 5 under and join the leaders. And remember, Ballesteros has yet to come to the 17th. And not only does not join the leaders, but has a testy little putt on his return. As the BBC reported, the way he played this 567-yard hole, he went much longer than 600 yards and was still putting for birdie. Lanny Watkins has turned the corner in 2 under par, yet another American entrant here. And yes, you heard correctly, Bill Rogers, who won some years back at Royal St. George's at Sandwich, 12 on this 14th hole. Here's Kel Nagel. Out of contention. Won it here 24 years ago.
Great friend of Peter Thompson's. They traveled together almost everywhere in the world. Flew from Newport via Boston over here Sunday night after the Newport tournament.
They were the World Cup team for so many years in the early 60s.
Well, they had a great spawning influence on this generation of Australian players, you know, down through Bruce Devlin and now to Norman. There's a real legacy of fine play as we watch Johnny Miller doing a little yard work. Don't see many repairs needed for these greens. They're so firm. They're browning up a little bit in spots from the dryness and the wind, but the ball barely leaves an indentation when it lands from an approach shot, and they don't spike up so badly as late in the day as it is here.
Miller's still 1 over, trying to get back to par. Nagel 8 over, and as we said, Ballesteros trying to stay at 4 under. He missed his birdie putt. It's been a long day.
Careful there.
Here's Miller. He needs something, and no, he doesn't get it.
Never got the line. John hasn't been the putter that he was when he was on top of the game here 10 years ago. And that's usually the case. It's the difference at the top level.
Well, you heard Greg Norman's interview with Lou Palmer. They asked him why he's doing so well. And he said, well, I'm just getting a lot more confidence in my putting. I think I played better last year, but I'm putting better now, and that's the difference. Here's Ballesteros to stay 4 under, 1 behind the leaders.
You don't shoot 66s and 7s without knocking a lot of putts in, including these.
And he does. That remains 4 under, going past the long 14th hole. And looking ahead to Cargate, a rather short par 4 15th, but with all kinds of problems. And what hole on St. Andrews does not have all kinds of problems? Kel Nagel holding out. He is trying to stay at 8 over par. And does. Beautiful weather. Very little wind this morning. When some of the better scores were recorded, the wind has come up now, and it's getting tougher and tougher. And as some I've given you your opinion as you look at Ben Crenshaw. Crenshaw, remember, went out at 2 over par. And he's a fellow that just really loves the history of golf as well as the game of golf. And Crenshaw has birdied 10, so now he is 1 over par.
Little vignette from yesterday. I saw Ben on the grounds, and you know, he is such a collector, and he had been in some of the old bookstores here, and I said, have you found any good old books? And he was almost in tears. An RNA member had given him a copy of a little book neatly illustrated with cartoons, published here in 1905, and the title was The Gentle Golfer. And Ben, known as Gentle Ben, was just very much touched by the gesture, and it so sums up what this town and course are all about. And here's Faldo in the light hay on 17 with a long second shot. This is a long, intimidating second shot under any conditions, but from where he is, it's longer and more intimidating.
You did not look in a mirror when you saw Crenshaw's playing partner. That man does play from the left side that you saw. That's Bob Charles, who has also won a British Open here 21 years ago.
Haven't seen Bob for a long time.
But
great putter. He was the best putter of his time, probably.
But that was 21 years ago, and here's Nick Faldo trying to win in 21 years later, 1984, and he is 4 under par. And this is his second shot at this long road hole, par 4 17th. Only 1 birdie all day long, many more bogeys than pars.
Probably a 3-iron, and he has to take it in right over that deep bunker with the pin cut just behind it. And the road,
oh my,
has come into play.
And you hit the ball off the road. If you wind up on the road, you can't drop back or anything like that. You got to play where she lies. And Faldo apparently has come to quite a spot to lie.
Well, he had an impossible second shot, virtually. You can't
that's better. He is just between the road. Can you believe that? Well, if you're going to win something, you need shots that wind up there instead of on the road in front of it or in back of it. Corey Pavin told us earlier while talking to Lou that he had to go ahead and just make sure. He'd heard that the road was in play, but he just wanted to ask for a ruling to make sure he had to hit it off the road at 18. And yes, he did. Ben Crenshaw has picked up 1 on par at 10, as we told you. He is 1 over for the championship, but he has 7 holes to go.
The Masters champion has not played terribly well since. Missed the cut in the United States Open, disappointingly. But I'm sure his adrenaline is at full throttle here this week.
But this is the tough part of this 9 today, wind in your face. Crenshaw, good looking drive, but the question is, where is it going to wind up?
What's the lie in the stance?
Palmer, Player, Nicklaus. Palmer and Nicklaus each had 76s, 4 over. Player a 74. We've got 3 leaders at 5 under.
Michelob Light for the winners this time, huh?
Oh, you enjoy being buried in the sand.
Would good friends really play this hard for a beer? Well, it is Michelob Light, the rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
Michelob Light for the winner.
The sea, the sun, the sand.
The check.
The check.
It's hard to appreciate good insurance until you really need it. Then it pays to have Safeco. Safeco protects your life, home, car, and business, and often saves you money in the bargain. So check the yellow pages for your independent Safeco agent. Get a free insurance checkup and peace of mind. Safeco. where careful people save.
Art flush. Read 'em and weep.
Read 'em? I can't even see 'em.
Try Coleman's new Ultimate Lantern, boys. Lights easier and adjusts to a glow, which also saves fuel.
My Coleman never did that.
It's all new. Even the reversible globe that softens light.
Smaller, too.
The Ultimate Lantern.
Hey, that's no flush.
Coleman's Ultimate Lantern. Put your outdoors in a brand new light.
Coleman, we outfit your outdoors.
Malox, America's #1 antacid for excess acid and heartburn, plus the #1 reliever of painful gas pressure, are now in new handy roll packs of Malox Plus tablets. Malox Plus gives you 1, relief of excess acid and heartburn, and 2, relief of painful gas. That's Malox Plus tablets for relief of excess acid and heartburn, plus relief of painful gas. Try Malox Plus with a great Swiss cream flavor. 1-2 acid gas relief, any way you want it.
Greg Stadler getting a ruling here of where he can drop the ball. He is playing with Nick Price and Nick Faldo. He is on 17.
Understand that he hit the scoreboard with his shot, Jim, and caromed on to the first green behind the burn there.
What has happened to Greg Stadler since he was 2 under at 12? At 14, he went 1 over. He had a terrible hole at 16 where he lost another shot to par. He's 2 over now, and now he's hit a scoreboard.
This is enough to make a man put back on 30 pounds.
He was doing so well. As we said, at one time, 2 under on the back 9, and now 2 over on the back 9, and he has just reached really the crux of the back 9. Well, the long hole at 14 is certainly a terrifying thing to face. 17. Lanny Watkins turned 9 at 2 under, and this is second shot on the 12th. Lanny has parred 10 and 11.
He's short of the top shelf there, which is short of what he'd like. Golf car with one of our sound mics on it, I think.
And that's the Lucas Air Force Bates jets that you keep here taking off just across the bay. Here's Ben Crenshaw.
Very narrow green, only 15 yards from front to back with a big upslope. Short approach. There's a firm action there from Ben. A good shot.
Good shot. One of the few, quote, hit and stick shots we've seen today. Instead of running it up, he took it high, got a little backspin on it, playing with Bob Charles, the left-hander right there, and Lanny Watkins. Here's Faldo at 17. Remember, his second shot just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. We thought he was in the road. He is not. Big break. See if he can take advantage of it.
Plenty of green to play toward. Pins across the green. And he's pretty short.
And, well, that says it all. Many a leader has come to 17 today. Norman came 6 under, 1 shot ahead of everybody, and he fell back to 5 under. Jacobson came 6 under, 1 ahead of everybody. Norman predicted he would fall back to 5 under. Here's Faldo coming at 4 under, trying to get to 5 under, and obviously he may even drop to 3 under.
Well, it's been happening for, what, a century or so here, and it's happening again today at the 17th.
Our leaderboard has the men who finished earlier today. The Scotsman, Bill Longmuir, with a 67. Greg Norman came in next from Australia, 67. And then Peter Jacobson, 67. Ian Baker Finch couldn't quite catch him, but he's in the locker room just 1 shot behind those top 3. And Faldo apparently is going to drop, and Ballesteros is coming on. Johnny Miller. Johnny Miller absolutely jumped out of his hat a hole or so ago, playing with Ballesteros' group. There are the links course of St. Andrews, the old course. There are 4 courses here. There's Ballesteros. And he is on 15. Second shot. Well, it is seldom we've heard a roar like that today on an approach shot, and that's snuggled in not right next to the pin, but anytime you get on a green level with the pin where you're not going uphill, downhill, side hill, you get a tremendous roar of applause.
It's a very deep green, 3 to 4 clubs deep, very easy to under club. Seve hit the bold shot into the wind and got the good result. And here's Lanny Watkins up the roller coaster.
Yeah, he'll take that right there. From way down there, Lanny Watkins, who is 2 under par, will take that to stay 2 under par. Let us
back to the baleful 17th.
The baleful 17th?
It's Old English.
That's Nick Price bending down. Faldo upset. He knows the best he can do is a par and stay at 4 under. And Stadler, just don't go up and touch Craig on the shoulder anytime soon and ask him anything.
I don't think I will.
And Nixon, he's still 2 over par through 17. Faldo will try to save something here. But here's Crenshaw back at 12. He is 1 over, looking for a bird. Not going to get it.
No.
That good putter just keeps it on the line outside the hole.
Yep, you have to read them first. You can't blame that one on the putter. He just didn't see what he needed to play.
Here's Faldo. Has to have this for his 4, or the road hole, the 17th, will have claimed yet another victim among the leaders.
Good competitor, this man. Has an outstanding Ryder Cup record. He's unbeaten, I believe, in singles against America, and has numbered Watson among his scalps. British nearly won that last time. British and Europeans.
Well, he's walking after it, so that means he's going to be down to 3 under. Faldo becomes another victim at the 17th with a bogey. And keep in mind that, as Ballesteros, we will see him play through 17 before we leave here today. We are still well into our coverage of the first round of the British Open, and we've got better than an hour and a half to go.
Talked about Seve driving it onto the par 4 10th earlier. That was 318 yards to the pin, and he put it 15, 17 feet past the pin. Johnny Miller away here.
Johnny Miller, Fuzzy Zeller, Crenshaw, all of them came in on a special Concorde trip here on Monday, and they had more than 20,000 people to watch that plane land. It never landed in this section of Scotland before. Here's Miller looking to get something going, but Johnny just can't get anything going today. Remains 1 over par by holding that. Now Seve will take the long look around.
Seve's very at home on a course like this. He grew up as a youngster learning to play on the beach in Spain, just concocting little shots with a 5-iron in the sand. I guess pot bunkers don't surprise you that much after that kind of growing up. Very great touch in his hands with the short clubs.
That's the charming little village of St. Andrews, right behind Seve as you look there. Now he's going to try to catch some leaders here. Aldo has fallen, and Seve will try to climb ahead and become the 4th member, 5 under. But he's still got a long way to go against that wind. Nope. You know, you got to pick him up here, Nick, because when you start hitting 17 and 14, which he has negotiated already.
No, this is as good a chance as you get for birdie coming in. I think the players are maybe thrown off somewhat as we watch Nick Faldo on 18T, the Royal and Ancient Clubhouse in the background. They aim at the clock to the right on the clubhouse. There is the usual target point. I think Nick may have it left of there.
And repeat again that Jack Nicklaus, when he caught Doug Sanders and forced that playoff there, when Sanders three-putted 18, Nicklaus drove through the green to the other side, and this is technically 351 yards uphill. Here is Nick Price. Price 2 over at 18. And they call that area in front of the green the Valley of Sin. Matter of fact, they had such rain here one year that the Valley of Sin in one afternoon was under 4 feet of water. By the next day, they had it pumped out and off. There's Statler.
Looked like a good drive for Craig.
Oh, Craig Stadler is really hot, and I don't blame him. Things fell apart for Craig on the back 9 from 2 under to 2 over. Our leaders, Longmuir, Norman, and Jacobson. Ballesteros has a chance to gain the lead.
If you're in business and serious about it, where can you get all the business news you need these days? In a daily newspaper?
You got me, Nick. I can't tell where it is out there.
Now, the best guess was that he played left. There's out of bounds right and the principal's nose, which is a configuration formed by some high ground and 3 bunkers in the landing area. There's only 15 yards or so between that collection of bunkers and the out of bounds, so they tend to play left away from that kind of trouble. And now we've got
Faldo at 18.
Faldo.
18 is drive. Apparently has gone way to the right and might be in trouble. Oh, now as we look back down, he's way left.
He went
Up
almost clear
behind the
across,
fans there.
almost clear across the first fairway, which.
We'll repeat again for those of you who may just joined us that St. Andrews originally was 11 holes out, and then they played the same 11 holes back in, many times with double greens. Then they took some double greens away, but still you play 9 out and 9 back. So fairways are side by side, going out and coming back. 1 is by 18, 2 is by 17. Doesn't always work out that way, but that is what we say when Faldo went across, out of the 18th fairway, across the first fairway, and is now looking for shot number 2.
I don't think that drop would have cost him anything, Jim. I think he's probably just dropping away from an obstruction like a gate or the crowd. But he's 150 to 60 yards left.
Perhaps a 7-iron?
Well, it's hard to have a distance from over there. I think that's probably close. We haven't seen anybody over there. I think it is a 7. Pin to the left on the 18th green, which makes this even a less advantageous place to be.
Lost a shot back at 17. And has found the putting surface here at 18 with a second shot after taking a drop. They call it a links course. The championship, of course, is over 100 years old. This course, better than 500 years old, could be older than that.
In sports, timing is everything. And the same goes for watching sports. If your timing is a little off, you could miss the action. No one knows that better than ESPN. That's why we offer our monthly programming guide. In the ESPN Sports Guide, you'll find listings of every fast-paced, spine-tingling, hard-hitting event, from the kick of karate to the rush of car racing. Whatever action you like best, ESPN has it, and the Sports Guide has it too, for less than 43 cents an issue. So why play hit or miss with your favorite events? For just $4.95, you can guarantee yourself a seat at all your favorite games. That's $4.95 for your 12-month subscription to Sports Guide. So call 1-800-544-1000 to order, or send your check or money order to ESPN Sports Guide, Box 1840, Bristol, Connecticut 06010. Act now. After all, timing is everything. And now is the time to order your ESPN Sports Guide.
Graham Marsh, Hal Sutton, J.M. Olazabal of Spain. Marsh was 2 behind Watson in the '83 British Open. Out of Australia, has won tournaments around the world.
Pretty much retired, I think, from touring competition. Jim, he's been a school teacher.
And at the moment, Nick, he is 2 under par. Al Sutton with him is playing at even par.
Playing on a good memory.
This is on 11. It's a par 3. And he'll have that much left for his par. We don't cover, the BBC cameras are not at the 10th hole, but that was named after Bobby Jones.
Ballesteros drives it a few more times. They may rename it.
We are now at 16.
Last hole, I
checked that. That's 18 because that's Faldo for sure.
It's Faldo who's made this from a 354-yard par 4 into a 454-yard par 4.
Ballesteros remembers back at 16, having to play that, and then to the road hole. Faldo would love to get something back here. He just dropped a shot at 17, long putt to get back to 4 under. Gave it enough, but way by. But at least he was very bold. Missed by perhaps a half an inch of hitting the cup. And now stares the possibility, not the probability, of dropping 2 shots in the last 2 holes. After being 4 under and looking for the lead.
You imagine the pressure on a British player coming to this 18th hole, the last day in contention. I believe this is Eamon Darcy. "33 nations represented here. I believe Eamon's from Ireland. They fly the flags not only of the 33 nations with competitors in the final field, but of all those who attempted to get through the rigorous pre-tournament qualifying process. It's truly an international championship.
Darcy, the reason why he is being shown is he is 3 under par on the back 9.
That'll do it.
That'll get you on television. Garrido and Hawks, his playing partners, are 4 over. Here's Ballesteros, though. And he is 4 under, remember, on 16. Taking a long look before hitting his second shot.
This is another one of those raised greens.
Which one is not?
Let me think.
I love it. They either say they're down in a valley, or there's a hump before them, or a hump after them, or it slopes from left to right, or whatever. But here's Ballesteros' second shot.
The rises right in front of the greens make these approach shots so difficult to judge. Is why you see so much wandering around. Isn't that silky?
But he's just smooth as can be. I'm not sure that he's that happy with it.
No, he ducked his head. If it went there, it pitched to the right because everything runs that direction.
Another caddy story they had here one time, Nick. I got time to get it in. Here's Faldo to save par to remain 3 under.
Circuitous par, this would be.
Pressure's on, but he gets it, remain 3 under. The story was a man got to the stroke and was about to jump in and toss his clubs after him and drown himself. And his caddy said to him, jump in, but you never drown yourself. You never keep your head down long enough. 3 men are tied for the lead. It's 5 under par.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Connors, and I'm going to make you a better tennis player. Every month in Tennis Magazine, Tennis, #1 tennis magazine in the world. #1 in keeping you up to date, helping you to enjoy and improve your game.
Get sound, practical instruction from the world's top teachers like Ash, Hopman, Travert, Vandermeer, and even Connors and me.
With news, insights, and updates on all the top players and on the bright new stars. With Tell It Like It Is articles on tennis equipment, apparel, and vacation ideas. Now you can get tennis at a bargain rate. Call 800-372-3000, toll free, and get 9 issues of Tennis Magazine for only $6. Less than half the newsstand price. Call right now and you'll get free the booklet, Jimmy Connors on Winning Serves and Ground Strokes. That's 9 issues of tennis, plus the Jimmy Connors booklet for only $6. But you must call now, 800-372-3000.
Don't forget, we've got a date right here every month.
Thursday, ESPN Speed Week puts you on a winning course. Bob Jenkins and Larry Newber buckle up for a survey of the motorsport scene. Then meet the 1982 Miami Dolphins. They're Super Bowl bound, and the NFL's greatest moments charts their unforgettable gridiron exploits. And Top Rank Boxing touts 2 tested tough guys. Robin Blake and Edwin Curette are set to slug it out in our live lightweight feature bout. ESPN sets the pace for sports action Thursday.
Lou Palmer's behind the 18th now with yet another person that's near the top of the leaderboard. Ian Baker Finch, 1 shot behind the 3 men who lead this tournament.
But for a birdie putt that slipped by on the low side on 18, Ian Baker Finch could be sharing that lead at 5 under par. As it stands, he is at 4 under par 68. Congratulations, Ian. Just a fine round today.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about last year. I know you were very close. Greg Norman was your leading money winner, but I know you were way up on the order of merit.
Yeah, in Australia, I finished 5th last year and currently running 2nd behind the Great White Shark for this year's order of merit. We've got quite a few tournaments still to play at home.
To get ready for this British Open in St. Andrews, you did play some European tournaments. Tell us about those.
I started playing about 5 weeks ago. Played well the first 3 or 4 and finished 4th a couple of times, just sort of getting used to the conditions and whatever. Didn't play quite so well last week at the Belfry. Good golf course in pretty tough conditions, and I missed the cut. But came up here on Friday, and I've been playing around the course every day since then, so I've had quite a good look at it.
How about prior to the tournament? Had you played St. Andrews before?
No, I hadn't. I'd never been over here. I'd read a lot about it, and Peter Thompson, a great player in Australia, has told me quite a lot about it. And I played with he and Kel Nagel and Bob Charles on Tuesday, I think. Had a practice round with them, and he showed me where to hit it and where not to hit it, and I think it helped a lot.
Is the course comparable at all to Australian courses?
No, not really. Not at all. This is nothing like target golf. This is hit it to the position where you're going to get in the least amount of trouble. You know, you've got to hit it, just keep hitting it left all day, and the way I hit it, that sort of suits my game a little. But the greens are very firm. You don't just hit it to the flag unless you've got a bit of breeze into you. They'll hold a little then, but with the wind blowing, maybe not as strong today as it could be, but you just can't land the ball at the pin. You've got to hit it to the side of the green where you've got the easiest putt. So they showed me a lot of, the right positions to hit it in anyway, and I tried to do that today, and it helped me a lot.
Ian, so many great Australian players have tried our American tour. Is that in your future somewhere?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I came over this year, actually, for 2 weeks. I finished 16th in one event and missed the cut at the Kemper. That's a hell of a golf course there
Yes.
at Congressional. But
what Norman did to it was criminal.
It sure was. Yeah, he should have got first and second prize money there the way he played. But I intended to go over and try to play a few events next year. But we'll see how I go in Australia and over here for maybe 2 more years, 3 more years, and then sort of do what Greg Norman's done. I think he's made a wise decision in staying away as long as he has, because he's got all of the experience behind him now, and now that he's won a couple in the States, he's there's no stopping him now.
Well, we'll look forward to the day when you do come over and play more of our tour events. Congratulations on the good round here. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Ian Baker Finch in at 4 under par 68.
Thank you, Lou. And the shot you saw while they were talking was Ballesteros. His third shot at 16 looked to be in good shape to get a par. This day, 4 under par. And as a resident of Bethesda, Maryland, where the Congressional Country Club is located, I love what he said about where the Kemper is playing.
Let's say you are going to drive this thing at 160 miles an hour on a racetrack. Oh, you've got the skill to win, all right, but without an experienced team behind you, you won't even get out of the pits. And that's the thinking behind Team Xerox, an able crew with a dazzling array of equipment for your office, whatever its size. When you get ready to join the race, Team Xerox wants to be right there behind you, all the way to the winner's circle.
MasterCard, find me a bargain. Maybe something in blue. MasterCard, you're so chic.
Even the most careful driver can have an accident, and that can wreck your insurance. But at Safeco, we won't raise your rates if you have an accident when you have our penalty-proof insurance. So check the yellow pages for your independent Safeco agent and get a free insurance checkup. You'll come out miles ahead. Safeco, where careful people save.
Today, he'll drive farther than ever before. Not with a new club or swing. Today, golf's distance authority, Iron Byron, is driving a new ball. Staff, 432 dimples for a longer trajectory. Outcarries Pinnacle, Top Flight, and Titleist by over a dozen yards. So now you can drive farther. Not with a new club or swing, but with Staff from Wilson, keeping you ahead of the game.
Historic St. Andrews, Scotland, the home of golf, the first round of the 113th British Open. We're in the middle, well, toward the end of our 5.5 hours of coverage today live on ESPN. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern time with 5.5 more hours. Ballesteros remains one shot behind the leaders, Longmuir, Jacobson, and Greg Norman. But he is now coming to the road hole 17. And the road hole, you know, at the last look, surrendered. But one birdie thus far, and a bunch of pars, and many, many bogeys and double bogeys.
It was playing almost right at a par 5, Jim. The last time we checked the computer, it was 4.9 something.
Well,
Now
it is 4.91. It's come down a little bit. Still only one par, 64 bogeys as compared to 25 pars, and 15 double bogeys. So Ballesteros with all that wind.
We've got about 35 miles an hour worth of it now, and it's become a chilling wind as the sun gets down. These holes out here are directly exposed to the sea. I'll be aiming it up over the sign there at about the middle, probably.
Right over the sheds. It used to be coal sheds because a railroad ran down that area. What's in there now, those reconstructed sheds? An indoor golf complex, including traps and bunkers, and let's go to Lou Palmer.
With Nick Faldo. Nick, obviously, I know you want to win a British Open, an Open Championship here, as badly as the crowd that roots for you. The spectators were all on your side, obviously, last year at Southport. How soon before you win one? I know that's a silly question.
Yes, thanks, Lou. It was a very silly question. Now, if I knew that answer, I wouldn't be playing golf, I guess. You know, you choose something else with a little bit more mystery to it. But sure, you try every year as hard as you can. But fingers crossed, hopefully it will be 1 year. But you know, when we come to St. Andrews, it's a different game out here. You know, you have to so many things.
There's so many things get involved in, you know, the bounces and the breaks and the wind, and, you know, you're lucky to half of the draw, and so you really can't, you just obviously pray that you play well for the week.
It's my indirect way of asking you, do you feel the pressure that your countrymen obviously do put on you to win an Open Championship?
Well, yes, they obviously, we're not like the States, who we have a lot of great sportsmen in all different fields, but we only have a couple, one or two, and obviously in the States they have, you know, 10 or 12 of great sportsmen in each different department, so they can take a little bit of pressure off themselves. You know, out here they expect one guy to win and keep winning every week, so if he fails, then they start asking silly questions.
It was, I'm sure, a fine feeling for you to win at Heritage, a wonderful golf course, and you led in the way you would like to win, I'm sure.
Yes, to win your first event. Yeah, I led that tournament for crumbs about 52 holes, I should think. So, and then to be, you know, have a before ahead on the last day, and I played very solid the last day, and you know, it was just great for a first win to win there and in that fashion. You couldn't ask for anything better.
Well, Nick, congratulations on that win. Best of luck the rest of the way here in the Open Championship.
All right, thank you.
Nick Faldo made a nice recovery on 18, and we saw it here on ESPN, Jim.
Thank you, Lou Palmer.
Thank you, Nick.
We're now at Eamon Darcy again. At last report, he was 3 under par at 16, and it looks like he's going to stay 3 under par. Eamon Darcy finished 8th last year, European Circuit. Peter Thompson, how about that?
5 times British Open champion.
3 times in a row. He and Harry Varden are the only ones to have done that.
Like Peter, or rather like his friend Cal Nagel, Peter's now playing the senior tour in America most of his time, designing some golf courses around the world as well, and was one of those to remark that every feature of golf course design can be found here in this old course.
Well, I tell you what, he is 2 under par as he comes to 11. That's not bad, is it?
It's very tidy.
Playing with Sam Torrance and Andy Bean.
Sam Torrance.
Torrance, great shot. Remember the Ryder Cup matches? Or a half?
Long ways from the hole.
This is the 11th, and we said several hours ago on our coverage that Bobby Jones, first time he came to St. Andrews, hit in a bunker, couldn't get out, tore up his cart, and just walked away. Now, Andy Bean, for those who may not remember, tied for 2nd last year with Hale Irwin, 1 shot behind Tom Watson at Birkdale. Bean, however, now is 2 over as he comes to 11.
Probably hitting less iron than his playing partners.
He was seen on ESPN earlier in the year when he won the Greater Greensboro Open. That's his sole tournament win of this year, and that's a pretty good tee shot at 11. The British papers will be full of the British Open tomorrow. This is a happening, a great several weeks in the British Isles when first they play Wimbledon, then they take a week off, and suddenly they're into the British Open.
Well,
3 weeks out of 4 of top international sport.
You used to get Wimbledon and the British back-to-back, which
That's
made
when
for
Jack Nicklaus used to come down and watch the last round or 2 and then come up.
It was the greatest trip in sports for a fan if you could get over here, see the end of Wimbledon and at least the start of the British. And Peter Thompson's had some dramatic marches in this golf tournament.
He was marching up Newport not too long ago. Now, after the threesome ahead of him hit, Seve Ballesteros, after a rather long wait, is now about to try to negotiate this road hole. Now, remember, he is 1 behind the leaders. There's only been 1 birdie on this 17th, and many, many more bogeys than have been pars, so his job is to try to get a par if he can, save his 4, and then go for birdie at 18. But he'll take anything he can get. He just didn't want to make the big mistake. And we can see now that he cannot drive now because there's another group out in front of him. Des Smith and Hinton and Rodriguez are out in front of him, unable to hit their second shots to 17. So Seve and his playing partners, Miller and Nagel, will just have to stand behind those sheds there
It's a difficult time of day to be standing around because the temperature has probably gone down 15 degrees since we came on the air. And
what about those who teed off at 4:35 or 4:40, less than 2 hours ago?
They're going to miss dinner. That's what happens.
Well, they're going to miss dinner. They're going to get cold, too. Here's Peter Thompson at 11 after not a fascinating tee shot at all. That's where Bobby Jones stood and couldn't get out.
Gene Sarazen made 6 on this hole, too, and he's a man who won both National Open championships. It's a very arduous par 3.
Good-looking shot. There will be a few interviews today with Bill Rogers about the 14th hole. Say, Bill, how did you get a 12 at 14?
I don't think Bill's talking about that.
Or to Tony Jacklin, former U.S. and British Open winner. Tony, what happened? How did you get an 80 when there was no wind blowing? But they're the first round stories. The first leader in the clubhouse was Bill Longmuir, a 31-year-old professional from Scotland who has not done too much in his professional career. Then the much better-known Greg Norman came in with a 67 to tie him. And then Peter Jacobson, winner of one already this year out of Portland, Oregon, age 30, came in to tie him. And they are 5 under, all 3 of them. Now, Esteros is out, 4 under. Ian Baker Finch, from whom we just heard moments ago, is in the clubhouse, 4 under. And we're looking now at Sam Torrance, one of the most popular golfers in all of the British Isles. I understand that Rogers went 12, 5, 6, 5, 17, 23, 28 in 4 holes.
He's on his way to missing that first cut we talked about at 36 holes, which gets the field down to 80 in ties. And then the second cut after 54 holes brings it to 60 in ties. Gonzalez at 18 for birdie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give Gonzalez the birdie there, and he is playing extremely well to begin with. That would put him, well, 3 or 4 under par, one of the 2. And we'll check it out for you as our scoreboard catches up to us. Meantime, Andy B. Already 2 over par. Nope.
Now Seve's ready to play at 17.
Boy, he's been waiting there for some little while. I'll tell you, I bet it's been a 15-minute wait.
It looks like he's set up to draw the ball right to left. Just so he doesn't get it too far left, but right's to be avoided.
Whoops. Well, I was about to say in good shape, and all of a sudden just disappeared from view.
A little too much draw. He started a little too far left, and he's in the light rough. As Peter Ellis pointed out, the rough is surprisingly dry and light here.
All right. Seve Ballesteros, the only man really with a chance on the back 9 at the moment at least to catch the leaders. And we've seen his drive at 17.
If you're looking for an asset management account that gives you high-quality services without the high price tag, stop looking. It's here now at Charles Schwab & Company, America's leading discount broker. Compare Schwab One with other asset management accounts. With Schwab One, there is no monthly or annual fee, none. When you buy or sell securities, you can save up to 76% in stock brokerage commissions, compared to rates charged by full commission brokers. You can buy or sell no-load mutual funds. You can borrow on your marginable securities at low interest rates. You get high interest on cash between investments, a free Visa card, and free checking. You can open a Schwab One account with only $5,000, not $20,000 like the others. Schwab One, all the financial services you need without the high price tag. For a free Schwab One brochure and application, call 800-321-1600 toll-free. No salesperson will call. That's 800-321-1600. Call now.
The Eden River flows into the Tay, which flows into St. Andrews Bay, which you're looking at. And if you looked a little to the right there and you had excellent eyes, you could see Norway. but I don't think too many can do that. But that's just about where we are. Here's Sam Torrance for a par at 11.
Peter Thompson walking away with him, the 1955 British Open champion right here at St. Andrews.
And 1956 and 1957, plus 2 other years. Ballesteros, remember, hit to the left at 17. He's the man we've got our eyes on at the moment. But remember also that Peter Thompson is 2 under par. Graham Marsh was also having a good round. When last we checked in, the man who's doing the school teaching, etc. Graham Marsh at the moment has gone back from 2 under to par.
Here's how the 12th is played today, Jim.
See that 88 number there? It's not been a difficult hole for par as opposed to 17.
Talking about 17, yet Jack Nicklaus said it was his easy hole today. He hit driver 1 iron, but those left him with his only tap-in putt, so I guess it doesn't grab everybody.
You know, they even blame things on 17, Nick, that may not be so. When Doug Sanders did so well with a great recovery shot from a bunker at 17, when he apparently was going to win, they blamed his 3-putting on 18 on the fact that he was just so thrilled with what he did on 17. He didn't concentrate on the shot that set him up for a long first putt, which he missed, and of course he missed the second and had the 3-putt.
Sam Torrance
on 12.
Hitting away on 12. Look at it run through the gullies. And maybe or maybe not into one of these many bunkers, some of which are hidden right in the middle of the fairways. Where, as Gary Player once was heard to say, I was taught to hit the ball. Andy Bean. The big handicap character from Florida.
Unless you, whoops, don't tell me.
Oh.
Don't tell me, and that's where they're looking.
This is the hole with all the heather.
This is the 12th, and they call it the Heathery Hole. And I think Andy may have a few other words for it.
This is really a dicey drive. There are just bunkers all over the fairways. You can't see most of them. Seve solved the problem the other day by driving the green. Just flew it all over everything. Peter won't do that. Seniors don't drive par 4s. Good drive.
Thompson is okay. Let's check in again with Lou Palmer.
And with me is the man from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Jaime Gonzalez. If you recognize the name from the American Tour, he was on tour for how long? 3 years,
I
Jaime?
was there for 3 years, yes. My last year was 1981. And I didn't play there as well as I have been playing around the world.
Well, you did have a very respectable finish at one tournament, the Greater Hartford Open.
Yes,
I do remember that.
I finished 5th in that one. I had some other good finishes, but that was my best finish on a U.S. Tour event. I enjoy their tour very much, but it's extremely competitive, and I've been playing good golf right now around the world, so maybe if my game keeps this way, I'll go back to the States.
Jaime, what about St. Andrews? I know you said that you had one look at it before, and that's what, 11 years ago?
Oh, yes. I played here as an amateur, just in a small tournament a long time ago. And the thing about St. Andrews, you got to get a great memory because you can't see all the trouble, and every time you get on the tee, you just got to know where they are, and it's very difficult.
It's a bit of awe that you must have here because this is where golf really started.
Yes. I think that, when I was on the last green today, you know, and I had a putt for Brady, and I just, all of a sudden, I was saying, gee, I mean, St. Andrews, you know, it is so much tradition, everything. I felt really, you know, privileged to be able to be on that green, just you know, hitting a putt.
Well, there are many Brazilians rooting for you and many Americans who remember you from the tour. Good luck, Jaime.
Thank you very much.
Jaime Gonzalez coming in at 3 under par, Jim.
Thank you, Lou. Now we're out with the obvious man that I've been watching for some time, Kel Nagel, former champion, won it right here 24 years ago at St. Andrews, playing with Johnny Miller. Seve Ballesteros, and here's Ballesteros. We're on the road hole. You've heard how they replaced the sheds. They've gotten past them. You've seen that there's only been one birdie all day, many more bogeys than there have been pars, and about as many double bogeys as there have been pars.
Seve having to contemplate now the shot that we've seen hit into the road most often here. He's got the long iron out of the rough, coming into the angled green from the far left side with the pin position just behind the big road bunker. I guess there's probably a more fearful shot in golf, but you wouldn't want to have to play it right here and now.
El Nego playing with him is 10 over par. Johnny Miller has gone to 2 over par. Johnny got back to par on 10, but dropped one on 12 and another on 16. It is 20 minutes, well, about 19 minutes before 7 o'clock in the evening here at St. Andrews, and the sun is shining brightly, and there's some players who won't finish for another several hours. But now here is Peter Thompson at 12, second shot.
An immaculate striker of the ball still. Peter's serious about this, isn't he?
Yes, sir. Remember, he is 2 under par. And he had a great saving second shot at the par 3 11th to remain there.
Fine golfing journalist, has gone straight from the course to the typewriter in the press room on many occasions.
And Andy Bean is in all kinds of trouble.
He'd take a typewriter to this.
Let's check something here, Nick. We now understand that that was not a par that Thompson saved. That was a bogey at 11, and he is 1 under par.
So he was in the short bunker and off the tee. Couldn't do anything but bump it out.
But at least he could do that. He's going to wind up with a pretty good shot if it gets up that hill. Well, it's not going to get up that hill.
No, it came back down, but I don't think Andy's too displeased with that. Now, here is every bit as difficult a shot.
Second shot, 17. Ballesteros 1 shot behind the leaders.
Very hard to clear the bunker and then keep it on the green. Oh, and he's...
I don't know where he is.
I think he's behind the scoreboard there. He's
Well,
way short and way left. All the trouble we talked about didn't begin to come into play.
We have talked about this road hole, the infamous road hole, the 17th. We've even interviewed people about this road hole. They're replacing the shed. It has reached up and grabbed everybody, and now may grab Ballesteros.
The Great American Railroads. They were built to cut coast-to-coast travel from 5 months to 1 week and open up the West. That pioneer spirit made this country grow. Today, I see that same spirit and energy in hundreds of small to mid-sized companies whose new ideas, new jobs, and new technologies will continue to build America. At First Jersey Securities, we specialize in discovering these emerging growth companies for today's investors with vision. First Jersey Securities. Come grow with us.
The Wall Street Journal is written for busy people. It doesn't waste your time with what you don't want to know. Make sure that you don't miss anything you have to know. Accurate, to the point, complete. The Wall Street Journal. It's all here.
Save $7.50 off the cover price with a subscription to the Wall Street Journal. Order 19 weeks for $39. Phone toll-free 800-372-3000. That's 19 weeks, just $39. And save $7.50. Phone 800-372-3000.
Here's Eamon Darcy on the 17th. Darcy still 3 under. And maybe not enough attention has been paid to Eamon Darcy. Good-looking drive, only 2 shots behind the leaders. Not that this is a hole to pick up, a shot on the leaders. Ballesteros is under the scoreboard, we understand, and if that is so, he will get a free drop. 12th, this is Torrance. Trying to get up on his 3rd shot, his first putt. And that's a good-looking putt as it stops a couple inches from the cup.
That's a fine putt. That's even more of a slope than it appears here. It's about 4 feet of sharp incline there. Very hard pace to judge.
You know, Andy Bean is having some problems. But if he winds up with a par here, as very well he might, that will be an amazing par. I thought he was buried in the heather and the brush.
Well, a foot either way, and he would have been. That's a very whimsical development. we see so much of that here. And he gave it a lot.
He sure did.
Oh,
he's in. Can you believe that?
Slam dunk.
He can't. For Andy Bean, that is a birdie after he was in all of that trouble, and that will take him back to 1 over par. That's the shot of the tournament we've seen today, by far.
Well, this was the ecclesiastical center of the kingdom, and Andy just paid his thanks.
This is where Scotland, this area here, Ballesteros, as he looks for the ball, he will get a free drop from there under the scoreboard. But as you've brought up that bit of history, this is where the Parliament said, we will join with England to become part of Great Britain. But here's Ballesteros. He is 1 shot behind the leaders, but in deep trouble. This is a par 4. This is his 3rd shot.
And he's got to come right in over the bunker. Then it's downhill to a tight pin position. He plays them beautifully, these little shots. He's short of the bunker, or else worse yet, he's trickled in.
By heavens. Well, you know, they've been playing this as a par 5. That's what most of the people who walked off of here with a 5, which is indeed a bogey. But Ballesteros, 1 shot behind the leaders teeing off on 17, may not do as well as a 5. He has expended 3 of the par 4 shots. He is short of the bunker. And from St. Andrews, we'll go away for a moment. And in the closing moments or minutes of our telecast, we'll come back and follow in Seve Ballesteros.
Thinking about throwing in the towel? No, think about making it Michelob Light for the winners.
Your serve.
Would good friends really play this hard for a beer? Well, it is Michelob Light, the rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
Michelob Light for the winner.
Boy, I need help with my serve.
Tom will help you.
First, you remove the cap.
Michelob Light. All across the country, every day, USF&G insures you. Your work, your home, your play.
The USF&G in the USA. USF&G protects your business, home, auto, and life through 6,000 independent insurance agents all across the country.
Protecting what you value and insuring your way. The USF&G and the USA.
ESPN paves the way to the LA Games Saturday. We'll be live in Eugene, Oregon to follow the fortunes of our Olympic hopefuls in final preparation for the Games. The 1984 Prefontaine Classic puts the world's best track and field athletes to the test. Saturday on ESPN.
Sunday, ESPN serves up live semifinal coverage from the U.S. Pro Championships. A star-studded field rallies round the court live Sunday.
The road hole, one of the most famous in all of golf. Ballesteros apparently is hit short of the road bunker with his 3rd shot on this par 4.
Interesting shot, Jim. I think he's maybe left of the bunker and is taking a putter to run it up.
Now we can see it, and he
pins only about 15 feet
oh,
over the green.
That's a
Look
dangerous
at this
thing to do.
Well,
and it's a gambling thing to do, meaning I know he's online, but just a little bit offline, and that thing could have just went into the bunker. Remember, it is Tommy Nakajima who putted into a bunker here when last the Open was played at St. Andrews and took a 9.
His options were just not very good. He had a lot of slope in front of him to get the ball up and no green, and now Peter Thompson.
Back at 12. Well, we have seen him drop a shot on 11, now another one on 12. He's gone from 2 under back to par. But remember, Ballesteros already has used up his 4 shots up at 17. So his next stroke will drop him to 3 under. And should he miss that, it is disaster. Here's the green of the road hole. Well, Ballesteros and Nagel.
Well, as Jack
And
Nicklaus
Johnny Miller.
said, it's at least a par 4.5, and players like Nicklaus will settle for 2 5s and 2 4s, but Seve now having to strain for his 5. Important putt for him. About as important as a first-round putt can become.
He is already to 3 under and could lose 2 shots to par should this putt not go in. Got it. After all that trouble, that's what we were talking about, the firmness, the confidence with the putts. He has lost a shot to par. He has dropped back to 3.
Not a pretty 5, but he likes it.
Remember now, it is Longmuir, Norman, and Jacobson in the clubhouse at 5 under. Baker Finch, the youngster from Australia, 4 under, and Ballesteros will drop into a tie with Kite and Faldo and Gonzalez and Darcy and Haggerty and Screeton at 3 under. Here's Johnny Miller. Well, Johnny is having a very tough time.
He has misplaced his touch with that putter.
Miller came here +2, going to lose another one. Go away from here +3. And 8 shots behind the leaders. Kel Nagel has had a disastrous round. Here's Eamon Darcy, 18. Darcy is going to try to pick up one more shot on par if he can. He is also 3 under par, coming to 18. A lot of golf left here on this St. Andrews course, but apparently no body really in contention. But we'll check some out who might be in contention, such as Hubert Green, who was under par the last time we saw him. Green is now even par for the tournament. And we'll check also on Lanny Watkins and what Lanny is doing.
Looking on here at the abominable 17th.
And Johnny Miller.
Yep, takes it toward the clock on the R&A clubhouse and looks to be fading the ball.
A quick reminder about the NASCAR Light Cola 500 coming up Sunday, this Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, live and in stereo from the Pocono International Raceway. Richard Petty will be there, Bobby Allison, Cale Yarborough. Yarborough won the NASCAR Van Scoy Diamond Mine 500, all here on ESPN this Sunday. Lanny Watkins remains 2 under par, and he is well in the back 9 as he is coming to 16. There's Kel Nagel, 10 over par.
Well, Kel's in his late 50s to early 60s, and it's just a nice thing to be able to see him play here at this course. Still a pretty spry step. How's that for a backdrop?
Well, as they come up, Ballesteros, remember, will try to pick up a shot that he lost. He is 3 behind. Our coverage of the British Open will continue in a moment.
Ask the independent investors you know the name of the largest discount stockbroker in America, and they'll tell you Charles Schwab and Company. Over 50 offices and more customers than any other discount broker. Ask the independent investors why Charles Schwab and Company is the largest, and they'll tell you up to 76% discount on commissions when you buy or sell securities. Place your orders from anywhere in the country 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Computer technology that speeds order entry and executions. Accounts protected up to $2.5 million. Low interest rates when you borrow on your marginable securities, and no salesperson will call ever. Charles Schwab, the largest for very good reason. Ask the independent investors, and they'll tell you. Go with America's #1 discount stockbroker, Charles Schwab.
For your free information kit and discount rate schedule, call this toll-free number now, 800-372-3000. That's 800-372-3000.
Threw a name at you, Dave Screeton, at 3 under par. Everybody's hustling to find out who Dave Screeton is, and he is from Lancashire, but about that, that's all we know. He is not in the European book at all. Now you're looking down that famous road hole that has reached up and grabbed a lot of people, and now you're looking at Eamon Darcy, who is 3 under coming to 17. And Darcy, this is his second shot at 17. Check that. That's got to be his third shot. Misinformation. That's got to be his third shot. In any event, if that is his third, it's good because he's got a great chance here to save par, and that hasn't been done here too often today. Eamon Darcy. And here's Ballesteros, who has just lost a shot to par and put in a very, very dicey putt to just save a bogey. At that time, a bogey was all he could hope for. He did. Went from 4 to 3 under 2 behind the leaders.
120 to 25 yards from the pin. He's across the road, or the wind, as it's designated here. And now he's trying to get the feel of the wind and the elements, which is so much a part of playing St. Andrews.
Remember also, as Ballesteros holds out an 8-iron, that back there is Lanny Watkins, 2 under par and very dangerous and on the course. If he doesn't go close to taking the lead today, he certainly, if he hangs in there with that, with an earlier start tomorrow, might have a chance to move really into contention.
And if an 8-iron sounds like a lot from 120 yards, that's a commentary on the wind, which is still blowing veritably right at the players here on 18. And Johnny Miller has played first in the group. And
Seve
put the ball under the hole about 16 feet.
Ballesteros up on the green. A hand from those who are here to witness it. Many are still on the course, and being 7 o'clock in the evening, even the fanatical Scottish fans have headed for home.
Seve's developed a late blooming reputation, or an early blooming reputation, as a teacher, particularly with the short game. Greg Norman gives him the bulk of the credit for his improved short game in the last year or so, and former British Open champions get this kind of respect when they walk up the 18th hole.
Speaking of former British Open champions, Gary Player 74, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus 76, Tony Jacklin 80, Bill Rogers had a 12 on the 14th today. Kel Nagle was 10 over par on 17. A lot of them here. Bob Charles not in contention. He won 21 years ago. But Seve Ballesteros has won and he is in contention. Tom Watson, remember, came in today having his troubles at 17, and he came in 1 under par for the day.
Well, Seve maybe needs a tournament like this to get his attention this year. He's not had a good year.
The front 9 for Seve Ballesteros. And the back 9, as you can see, birdies on 10 and 12, with the bogey at 17. And we have him at 18. Kel Nagle looking for some kind of shot today that will take a shot off par for him. This is for birdie, but he's not going to get that, as you can see. And 11 over par. That's just about where he may end up with an 83 if he cans this putt.
I don't think Kel came here expecting to contend. I know he just wanted not to embarrass himself. He came at the invitation of the Championship Committee, which prides itself on bringing back great winners like Cal, particularly having won their centennial tournament right here.
But, Nick, you don't even have to be a player to want to come back to St. Andrews.
Well, it's coming home for every golfer in the world.
No matter how good you are. Johnny Miller looking for Bird and does not get it.
John is not going to get a putt today.
He's going to wind up with a 75, yet another British Open champion. Long day when you shoot 75.
Great American contingent here this year. There have been years when some of the better players stayed home because of the expense and the inconvenience and the travel, but
it's St. Andrews.
John Cook had to drop out because of the injury that we saw bothering him in the Canadian Open.
All right, to go 4 under par and wind up 1 shot behind the 3 leaders in the clubhouse, Ballesteros. No, by that much, no.
Part of it, but not all of it.
And he's going to wind up 3 under par with a 69 and 2 shots behind our leaders, Longmuir, Norman, and Jacobson, with Baker Finch in between there at 4 under par all by himself, the youngster from Australia. And in the British Open, you never count in or short putt. But that one goes in. 69 for Ballesteros. A lot of people picked him, but one of the men who's ahead of him was a heavy favorite here, and that was Greg Norman, who came in with his own 67 today to tie with Peter Jacobson and Bill Longmuir. Remember, others, including Watkins and Crenshaw, are still on the course, and our coverage will continue.
In this single issue of Smithsonian Magazine, you explore the pioneering world of modern medicine, the upside-down world of the bat, the exciting world of the first woman to fly the English Channel, the dazzling world of a visionary artist, the post-war world of Falkland Islanders, the nostalgic world of Niagara Falls souvenirs, and the changing world of the professional British nanny. All these fascinating worlds and more in just one issue. Subscribe now for a full year. 12 monthly issues of Smithsonian Magazine for only $18. Plus, you become an associate member of the Smithsonian Institution, eligible for travel benefits, book and gift discounts. Nature, art, science, history, all our worlds every month. There's no other magazine like Smithsonian.
To get the next 12 issues of Smithsonian Magazine for only $18, call toll-free 800-372-3000. That's 800-372-3000. Call now. Whole new worlds are waiting for you.
You're looking at the 16th fairway. Lanny Watkins, we spoke of him. He eagled the 5th hole today, but more importantly, in the later rounds, as he's turned the corner, he is just birdied 15, and he is 3 under par with 3 holes to play. So Lanny Watkins is very much in this tournament. And now let's join the BBC.
And the reason they're hanging around, more delays while people up ahead putt on the green. And with the lowering sun, you can see the sort of crumpled aspect of the ground, as Pat Ford Thomas once described it. And there is the scores, the facts and figures of this 16th hole. Many more bogeys and double bogeys, but only 6 birdies and 1 eagle. Mike Sullivan holed his 2nd earlier in the day. So very few of these closing holes giving much to the best golfers in the world. And it's interesting, the weather really hasn't altered that much throughout the day. There's been, well, a mild breeze, a medium breeze all day long, but the good scores were made this morning. There we are. All those 3 scores were posted earlier in the day. Phil Longmuir, Greg Norman, Peter Jacobson. 5 under par, 67. New name, David?
This is David Screeton, second to the 13th in a moment, and this man has just birdied the last 4 holes that he's played, the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and he's now 4 under par. And look at that, with 4 birdies in a row after going out in 35. Some pretty interesting golf going on in this threesome. Rick Hartman from Sarasota, Florida, American young professional, is 2 under par playing with Screeton. And John Bland from South Africa is even par. Now he's hit that to the right. He's qualified to get into this championship, and I don't think he liked that too much.
Ben Crenshaw, second shot at 16. All right, Lanny Wadkins. Marvelous shot. Wants to slow down. It could go down that bank. Where Nick Faldo and Johnny Miller then after him putted down. Wadkins 3 under. Playing with Crenshaw and Bob Charles. Out in 34, Wadkins, and another birdie at the last hole, the 15th. So unless he can tiptoe over the last 2 or 3 holes, he's going to be up there, as most players prefer to be, just in behind the leaders. Many of these golfers are superstitious about being in the lead at the beginning of a championship. There's always added pressure on them. Much rather come from behind. There's his figures. Drops shot at the second. Got an eagle 3 at the 5th. That's the double blinking square. And birdies then at 7 and 15. Lanny Wadkins been playing fairly well, not up to his usual standards on the US Tour this year. He's only had he's tied 5th in the Tournament Players Championship, which Fred Couples won, and was 11th, or shared 11th place in the recent US Open. PGA Championship in the United States in 1977. Very aggressive golfer. Well, I believe Clive Clark has got Seve Ballesteros up at the clubhouse.
Oh, we're going to miss Seve. And we have already seen Seve hole out, and we hope we have a chance to talk to him as Clive Clark of the BBC is about to talk to him. We'll hear what he has to say perhaps, but we'll follow Watkins when we come back.
If you're looking for a really good job, I have a word of advice for you. Look in here, in the National Business Employment Weekly. Every week, hundreds of job opportunities from every regional edition of the Wall Street Journal. And you know what that means. Top jobs in top companies. At salaries from $25,000 a year up to $250,000. Top jobs. And every week, expert articles on how to write better resumes, come across better in interviews, what the going salaries are, when to change jobs, when not to. Important articles, useful articles. The National Business Employment Weekly. If you want a really good job, this can help. Believe me, it's my business to know.
Ask for the National Business Employment Weekly at your newsstand, or if you prefer, you can have the next 8 issues sent by first-class mail for $32. Just call toll-free 800-372-3000. That's 8 weekly issues, $32. Call 800-372-3000 now.
Thursday, ESPN Speed Week puts you on a winning course.
Bob Jenkins and Larry Newber buckle up for a survey of the motorsport scene. Then meet the 1982 Miami Dolphins. They're Super Bowl bound, and the NFL's greatest moments charts their unforgettable gridiron exploits. And Top Rank Boxing touts two tested tough guys. Robin Blake and Edwin Curette are set to slug it out in our live lightweight feature bout. ESPN sets the pace for sports action Thursday.
Seve Ballesteros in at 3 under par 69. With the conditions, I would think you're very happy with it, Seve.
Yes, I'm very happy with 69. I think it's a great score. And I must say the pen positions, they were tough today, especially on the front nine. Every pen position was on the very front part of the green, and with the wind helping, it was very difficult to keep the ball close to the pen, very difficult.
Now, on 17, you're really playing that almost as a par 5, certainly a 4.5. 17 has really eaten up everybody today.
Yeah, it's a tough hole. As everybody knows that. I play my drive left, and then I tried to play my second shot with a 4-iron left side of the green. That was the only place for me, and because I was in the rough, my ball just didn't carry enough, and I was way short, and I was very lucky to get away with a 5.
Seve, what phase of your game were you happiest with today?
I drive very well, and but especially I think my putting was very good.
What will be the key if you were to win here? What would have to go exceptionally well? Would it be the putter for you?
I think the putting is very important, and the irons. You have to keep the ball close to the pin.
Finally, on the way you rate world courses, and you certainly have played all of them around the world, it seems, where would you put St. Andrews? Up at the top, close to the top?
Well, St. Andrews is a great course, and it's different course. You know, it's double greens and just no trees and very deep bunkers. It's different. It's hard to rank this golf course because it's so different than any other course in the world. And but it's a great course. I like it very much. I enjoy it.
Quickly, do you have a feeling like Lytham when you won there?
Well, you never know. I'm going to try very hard, and I feel quite good. That's all I
Okay.
can say.
Keep going. 69 today for Seve Ballesteros, Jim.
Thank you, Lou. And as you say that, we may report that Jaime Gonzalez also came in 3 under par. And here's Eamon Darcy. And this is Watkins back staying 3 under par. Eamon Darcy finishing it out at 18 is going to be 3 under par. A little-known Irishman. When I say little-known on our side of the Atlantic Ocean. But a lot of folks are up in contention there. Harold Sutton, our former PGA champion, who's not won a tournament this year, is 2 over on the back 9. Lanny Watkins is 3 under on the back 9. Ben Crenshaw is over par on the back 9. But most of the men have played their way through, including the likes of Hubert Green, Hale Irwin, and we told you about Arnold Palmer and Gary Player. Hubert Green has won the U.S. Open here, had a +3 for the day, and here is Eamon Darcy trying to, as we say, wind up 3 under par with a bunch of other people. He does it the exciting way, but he does fire a 69. Over 30 years old. Irwin, we told you, wound up with a 75 today. Hale just did not have a good day. He finished 2nd last year, you'll recall. Here's Screeton at the 14th, and I tell you, Screeton, who was 4 under par, he's birdied the last 4 in a row, is a big mystery here. We believe he is from Lancashire. We know he's an Englishman, but other than that, nobody can tell you anything.
We can tell you that he almost caned the loop, which is an expression they have here for going 3-3-3-3-3 on the 7th through 11th holes, out where the course loops and turns back. I once caned my caddy there. I didn't cane the loop, but I caught my caddy with a practice swing on the tee in the teeth, I'm afraid.
That's Rick Hartman out of Sarasota, Florida. By the way, Hubert Green wound up with a 74 today also. Here's John Bland. John Bland from South Africa. And I would imagine that now that Darcy is in and Ballesteros is in, that the nearest man that can do anything to challenge the three leaders is Lanny Watkins. And our gentleman that nobody knows anything about it, David A. Screeton of Charlton in Lancashire.
Well, it's not enough that this 17th is such a diabolical challenge, but they have to wait to hit.
The hold up here is because Hubert Green was 2 over. David Ridley and Simon Hobday are teeing off, and you saw Watkins and Charles and Crenshaw behind them. There's Ben Crenshaw. He's smiling, at least. Ben hasn't had that good a round at all. He went out, remember, and bogeyed number 1 and then bogeyed number 3, but he has gotten himself back to par. That was David Ridley going off out of Oxton. Closing moments of our telecast. We will remind you while we have a bit of time here, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, 5.5 more hours.
Here's Hubert Green, 17 feet.
Over the sheds, used to be coal sheds of the old Course Golf and Country Club, and perfectly placed. Green, as we said, was 2 over. Now as you see Screeton walking up, they painted light green paint over the old Course and Golf Club, Country Club, hoping that would help the golfers. And they said, wait a minute, we want to see those letters as brightly as we can so we can get a target. Screeton will be quite a story. We told you that he birdied 9, 10, 11, and 12. They're the only birdies he's had, but that's enough. No bogeys. And he is coming right now to the 14th. And the 14th is that long hole. It is playing, and it is a par 4. You're looking at the 17th. We want to take a look at 14 for our situation, which is a par 5 and is paying at 5.31 shots. 14 birdies, 86 pars, and 24 bogeys and 11 double bogeys.
You see the out-of-bounds wall there, the old stone wall that's been there for centuries to the right, and just beyond it, the Eden Golf Course, which is part of this same 4-course complex, all open to the public.
Waiting on a golfer ahead of them. And I would have to guess at who that is, Nick.
I would too, Jim. I don't know him. John Bland, I think, maybe. He's not that bland that we shouldn't even know his name.
But there are many people here, well over 100. Here's Screeton. They're 156 teed off.
Just be trying to play up there left to the worst of the bunkers.
Second shot at 14, which is a par 5. And he may have a chance, depending on his third shot, of course, to pick up yet another shot on par. And from St. Andrews, with time running out on our telecast time of the day, and with Longmuir, Norman, and Jacobson with a 1-shot lead, we'll come back after this.
I'm going to Kingsford tonight. I'm really going to do it right. Want a great big taste now, you know I know how. Fire up your appetite. I'm going to Kingsford tonight.
You're going to trust that steak to any ordinary charcoal? Kingsford cooks better. No other charcoal burns so hot night after night. Hot enough to seal that juicy flavor in tight.
I can't wait for that first bite. Kingsford tonight. I'm going to Kingsford tonight.
We brought solar telecommunications to the jungles of Colombia, microwave telecommunications to Mexico and Spain,
optical fiber telecommunications to Belgium, and satellite telecommunications to Algeria, China, and Italy, to name just a few of the countries. G. No, GTE.
The gold. Michelob and Michelob. Something speaks for themselves. Michelob. One smooth and mellow taste tells you all you need to know. Michelob. Some things speak for themselves.
Introducing Macintosh. It does all the things you'd expect a business computer to do. It does a lot of things you wouldn't expect a business computer to do. And it does some things no other business computer has ever done before. Of course, to do all this, you will have to learn to do this. Macintosh, the computer for the rest of us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Mees in the ESPN Newsroom. Hope you're enjoying the coverage today of round one of the British Open Golf Championships at the Old Course at St. Andrews, Scotland. Of course, right now there's a three-way tie for the lead. The first round has yet to be completed, but most of the golfers are in the clubhouse. Reminder, we will have live exclusive second-round coverage for you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 6 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. Right now there's a three-way tie for the lead on the leaderboard at the Old Course at St. Andrews. That's tomorrow's second round of the British Open. Jim Simpson will be there along with Nick Seitz and Lou Palmer at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. The PGA event on the tour is the Quad Cities Open. We'll update you on that right after we complete our first round coverage of the British Open. Let's go back to St. Andrews and Jim Simpson.
Let us go now for one final time today to Lou Palmer.
Ireland's Eamon Darcy very much in contention at 3 under par 69. Eamon, congratulations on the round, and I understand there were some rather severe pin placements out there.
Well, I tell you, those flags were so tough on some of those greens. I don't know where they're going to put them, for the rest of the week. We've had all the hard spots.
What's the key to this British Open Championship here at St. Andrews, do you feel?
Well, the key really is to hit the greens on the right side, to get the right side of the flags. And, you can hit the ball reasonably close, but if you're on the wrong side, the flags are stone dead.
Well, Eamon, a nice round today, and good luck to you the rest of the way in this British Open Championship. Eamon Darcy with a 3 under par 69, and just to amplify what he said about pin placements, Johnny Miller, our American golfer, came in and really was very critical about the pin placement, said that when you're on the green, you're facing a 30-foot putt almost every time, so that could very well be a key to what's going to happen to the rest of this 113th Open Championship, and of course here at St. Andrews. And we'll be around all day tomorrow during our 5.5-hour coverage here on ESPN, and again, we'll be chatting with the players as they finish their rounds here at historic St. Andrews. Jim?
I seem to recall, Lou, that Greg Norman and Jack Nicklaus had something to say about those flag placements, too, so I'm sure that'll be a big story in tomorrow morning's headlines. Right now, Longmuir, Norman, and Jacobson, the leaders by 1 over Baker Finch, who is in the clubhouse, and David Screeton, who is on the course.
Attentively, Hyatt. Graciously, Hyatt.